At Wednesday night's PTA-sponsored Candidates Forum, we spoke to each of the candidates to learn more about why they're running for the board. Here's candidate David Lazar.
Tell us why you're running for the school board position.
About a year ago, I was at a couple of the board meetings for the budget, and I was very concerned when I heard a board member speak about how it was only the equivalent of 3 pairs of shoes, the budget increase, and I felt it doesn't make any sense. How could a board member not have empathy for the 30% of the students that come to school every day that need government-supported lunch? And I said, this is just not a good idea. The budget doesn't look right. The board doesn't really have concerns about that part of the district. Someone has to get involved. And having once upon a time being a volunteer firefighter, that's what I happen to do. I jump into fires and try to see what I can do to help people.
Tell us 2 immediate items you'll focus on if you're elected.
One is find cuts to waste in the budget. And when I say something like that, I'm talking about within busing alone and transportation. I found that there's many ways that we can probably find smarter ways of reducing that budget, and that budget is a pretty large item. That's one of the areas that I would focus on. The other one is to make sure that kids with special needs are getting more appropriate help and not having to fight as much for budgetary money.
What would you do with the surplus?
With the surplus, so quote unquote, according to the board, there is no surplus. But as we know, every year that we see a surplus, I believe that it makes sense to actually make proper reserves for starters. We talk about how our facilities are falling apart. We talk about how we need to make future bonds. Maybe we should put the surplus into reserves so that we can use it instead of borrowing money in the future.
How long have you lived in West Hempstead? What's your favorite thing about the community?
23 years, and I've always found it to be a nice community, great people in the community, friendly people when I walk around, and people seem to care. I was in the fire department, a bunch of guys jumping into fires, seeming to care. It's just a great place to be.